Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unsung Heroes. Today we are going to be talking about Chris Candido. Chris Candido, who was one-third of the triple threat in ECW, along with a bunch of other members from the franchise, Shane Douglas, Bam Bam Bigelow, Brian Lee, Francine, and his on and off girlfriend, Sunny. Candido started off around 86, working at the he was training at the Larry Sharp's Monster Factory in Jersey, where he was from, and he would help set up rings. And then in 93 he started working with Eastern Championship Wrestling, which became ECW. He was working with the Suicide Blondes with Johnny Hotbody and Chris Michaels, and that was the beginning of ECW. Originally ECW came from Tri-State, so I used to go to the Tri-State shows when I was a kid, and then I didn't check out much of the Eastern stuff, but I did go to a lot of the Extreme Championship Wrestling stuff. So I got to catch a lot of Chris Candido's matches when he was in his prime. From 92 to 94, he was in Smoky Mountain, where his girl Sunny, who was being billed as Tamara Fitch, debuted under Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Cornette's found some people in his day, man. I don't think Cornette gets enough credit for that. Whether it be the OVW stuff, who he helped train a lot of the guys who became superstars, or even just some of the Smoky Mountain stuff when some of the people came out of there, like the Gangsters and Chris Candido, Brian Lee, shit like that. So Candido was down there, and he was doing pretty well, with Brian Lee. They were making a name for themselves. Candido won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship and held it from 94 to 95. He won a 10-man tournament, defeating Al Snow, Dirty White Boy, and Tracy Smothers, all notable names. So that title was vacated by his triple threat member, the franchise Shane Douglas. So Candido came in and took it down, later dropping the title to Dan Severin. I remember hearing about that too. In late 94, Candido formed a tag team with Boo Bradley, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was Louis Spicolli. Louis Spicolli could work, man. Then Chris Candido went to the World Wrestling Federation. He got called up to the big time, and him and Sonny were both signed, and Candido was named Skip, and Sonny and Sitch was named Sonny. Debuting on WWF television in May 95, the duo were given a gimmick of a pair of arrogant fitness gurus who would mock their opponents and members of the audience for being unfit. Not one of the best gimmicks, and probably was detrimental. Well, how do I say this? It wasn't detrimental to Chris Candido's career, but what it was a gimmick that he had to shake. So it put him over, as in he was seen on a worldwide, he was seen worldwide by the fans of professional wrestling, but he was also seen with one of the worst gimmicks in the history of pro wrestling. And being that he had a hot chick with him, Sonny, who was a little bit of somebody who wanted attention, it probably was not easy for him in the WWF, as we've heard the Click stories about Shawn Michaels and all them. And I'm not going to get into all that because it's none of my business. I remember seeing Candido in those times, and I remember thinking the gimmick was whack, and I just, I didn't get it, But after leaving the WWF, Candido returned to ECW at High Incident, and he became a part of the revived Triple Threat alongside Shane Douglas. While in the Triple Threat with the nickname No Gimmicks Needed, he developed a rivalry with fellow member Lance Storm, who was soon replaced by Bam Bam Bigelow. However, Candido teamed with Storm to win the ECW Tag Team Championships, and they were not getting along as they were champions. You would see that on screen. After that, I'm going to go off the record here and just say this stuff. I saw Candido with the franchise and Bigelow, Francine. Every now and then they'd bring in Sonny, and the Triple Threat was one of the best factions in the history of pro wrestling. There's no doubt about that. It's not about how much money they were making or what they were drawing. They were holding it down for ECW at that time, and they were kicking ass. And I'm glad they did what they did. So Candido had some good runs there. He was a television champion. He invented a move that I'd never seen done before, which was a powerbomb off the top rope. Very, very cool move. Very dangerous move. He then went to World Championship Wrestling. He won the Cruiserweight Championship there, and wasn't necessarily utilized right in World Championship Wrestling, but he was there, and I'm sure he was getting a nice paycheck. He did the indie circuit from 2000 to 2005, where he was known as somebody that was a real help in the wrestling business. This guy loved the pro wrestling business. He did New Japan from 01 to 02, and he did TNA in 2005. And he passed away after he fractured his tibia and fibula and dislocated his ankle during a steel cage match with Lance Hoyt against Apollo and Sonny Sayaki. He underwent surgery the next day to have titanium plates and screws inserted into his leg. He was at the following Impact tapings, managing the Naturals to defeat America's Most Wanted to win the NWA World Tag Team Championships. On April 28, 2005, Candido felt ill and his condition worsened during the day. He collapsed in the evening and was rushed to the Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in New Brunswick, New Jersey. He was diagnosed with an pneumonia. Doctors drained his lungs, but Candido died soon afterwards. From the word is on the street was that he got onto a plane after surgery, and that's what actually did him in. It was a blood clot from a complication from surgery, and he apparently he shouldn't have been flying. And that's why they say, if you're out there listening to this, if you have surgery, do not fly immediately after. That's all I could say about that. Don't fly if you've had surgery. But yeah, Chris Candido, definitely, a very strong worker in the wrestling business. I wanted to do this for him today, being that he's an ECW alumni and being that I got to see a lot of his career in his glory days of ECW. So I just wanted to say that. Hope you all like it. This is Rick Reinhardt here at the Pro Wrestling Archive saying good night.